a method becomes right when it helps you to progress as an individual. Near Kovalam. Here I have given a small clip
To a huge fishing net. And then
the next one is fish out of water. It's a common usage. People with great knowledge will never keep flaunting themselves. Many of you are interested in learning new words, new expressions, commonly used idioms, and such kind of things that will help you to form sentences towards language development. Today, this video is for you. There are different methods of learning today, and we have access to several options. Similarly, there are different methods of catching fish. You must be wondering why the thumbnail is given in such a manner. I would like to remind you that there are different methods of learning, but you cannot have your own way with a funny attitude saying that this is my way, because a method becomes right when it helps you to progress as an individual. What is the use of having a skill when you're not able to groom and shape yourself as a better individual? So always follow the right methods and the techniques that work for you, never with arrogance and attitude. So let's begin today's video. So I told you that I'll be sharing a few expressions, some sayings and idioms that will definitely help you with the usage of words that will give a fuller sense to your sentences. Before that, I will share a video here. This is something that I shot while I was traveling when I was in Trivandrum, somewhere near Kovalam. Here I have given a small clipping of a traditional method of fishing. You must be familiar with it. Many of you would have already seen it, but this was something very new to me. So I thought of sharing it. So after this, I'll be sharing one saying or one idiom, something that's very similar to a proverb. So different categories will be shared with you. At the same time, I will have a guideline associated with each idiom. So you get an expression, and along with that, you get a guideline. Okay, and that will definitely help you to form sentences. Are you ready? So here comes the video.
in this video, you can see a few men pulling hard at this end of a long, heavy, thick rope. The other end is tied to a huge fishing net and then immersed in the sea. You can see a line of men controlling the rope here. The other side of the fishing net is also attached to a rope and pulled by a group of 20 to 25 men. Take a look at the direction in which they are standing now. All of them work towards one goal, that is a catch of the day. They have prepared well with trust and belief in themselves. The fishing net remains in the waters until it becomes full with fish. And farther away in the sea, few men and 2 or 3 boats keep encircling the net. They ensure that the net is spread wide into the waters. Look at this thick rope here. It's drawn taut by this man. Now something interesting happens. Here you can see them changing the position. They all walk to another side of the shores. As soon as the net is filled with a good catch, they keep pulling hard, because standing in the previous direction and position would not have helped them complete this task. And they know that there is plenty more fish in the sea. The net is pulled from both the sides to the shores. The boats and men in the sea also work towards bringing the huge, heavy net closer to the shores. They are quite careful in doing this, especially when the thronging fish tries its best to escape back into the waters. You can also see 2 or 3 men diving in and out. They also keep a track of the net. Actually, this method takes hours and hours. It's a tedious one, but they never lose hope They wait amidst those challenging waves, though not immediately. At least a few hours later, they're assured of the output of their hard work. And you know that they have become familiar with this method through practice, consistency, and perseverance.
So, finished watching the video? Let's begin today's idioms, expressions, and all that. The first one is you need to bait the hook to catch the fish. This is something very similar to a proverb, a saying. Whatever it is, it means you need to have some preparatory methods in your life before beginning a journey. Okay, preparatory methods are important when it comes to language also. Let's take this video. Here we saw that there is a big group operating behind this method. A lot of people are working towards just one goal, and that is to catch the fish. They're very determined towards the catch of the day. Similarly, when you learn a language also, you need to have some preparatory methods. So I'll give you a few, like finding the right guide, a tutor, a proper course if you want. At the same time, some people are comfortable in writing down notes, and also find out the real objective and purpose of learning something in life. And as I told you in the beginning, a skill should always groom you as a better individual and not as an arrogant person. Because today we are living in a world where people have access to everything. And some people are very good with English, but they grow with arrogance. They develop with arrogance. And eventually they fall into a trap. So here we are not interested in hooking the string with a trap, but with the right bait, and that's the right preparatory method. Similarly, suppose one method is not working for you, suppose one particular course is not working for you, do not get frustrated and do not stop. Do not believe that you are doomed to not learn a particular language, because when you begin as a beginner, or even from where you begin as an intermediate learner or an advanced learner, there'll be hundreds of methods. You have to choose the one that's right for you. You shouldn't make the technique right for you. That is wrong. When there is a right method, try to have patience and be determined to work with that particular method instead of shaping that method to suit your need. Because when you dominate over the method, it may not work. Okay, so choose the right method and always believe that there is something better. The next one is fish out of water. It's a common usage and many of you must be already using it. Now, this means you don't have the sense of belonging when you try something new. Even in this video, people do not feel that they are like a fish out of water. There is something known as discussion, group discussion, or just discussion that happens between people. So here in this video also, there is one target, there is a goal that they're trying to work on. They're working towards that particular goal. There is discussion happening. And sometimes they are getting impatient also. Sometimes they feel that this catch is not for them, but still they are determined. There will be ups and downs in your learning journey where you feel, oh, I feel like a fish out of water. This is not working for me. I think this language is not made for me. Okay, there are beginners, there are people who really feel that way. But with determination, when you know that there is a right approach that's waiting for you, when you have the right fish waiting in the sea, I think you shouldn't feel like a fish out of water. Only if it is putting a lot of pressure, if it is affecting your health, if you're not able to progress, you need to switch to the next one. Otherwise, try your best. Try with patience. It is out of passion and interest that people work on it. And it is out of passion and interest that people are arrogant towards it also. So there are always two sides to a coin. For some people, English is definitely difficult. Learning the language itself is difficult. They may not be able to comprehend the techniques in the first place, and it's okay. And for that purpose, what happens is when they don't feel that they belong to the group. Now, this happens because of different reasons. One could be because you are given destructive feedback by your friends and relatives saying you're making a mistake when they're making hundreds of mistakes. Okay, discouraging attitude. It could also be because you don't have the sense of belonging. That is because each learner will take some time to work on it, to work on the technique. And what happens eventually, they start changing tutors, courses, and they'll shift from one method to another. I'm not saying that it's wrong, but when you're not consistent with something, how will you work towards this goal of developing your language? And finally, you know what happens? They get frustrated. They end up frustrated and they begin blaming everybody, the environment, the whole universe. So people keep shifting because they will understand gradually and slowly that you have to put in some effort. There are some tips and tricks and some techniques, but shortcuts will not work every time. So, what I'm trying to tell you is if genuinely it's not working, please drop it. Otherwise, if it's taking time, give yourself some time. If you're able to make this much of progress a day, if you learn one word, I think that's where success falls in. Okay, it's not in showing what you have and in flaunting your knowledge and trying to point at others. It's more about acclimatizing and developing yourself as an individual. The next one is like a fish to water. Now, this is a contrary expression to the previous one. So, as you begin working on a technique or as you begin working on a course, you will feel that you're quite familiar because slowly you have groomed. I wouldn't say that you're adjusting, that you're sacrificing a lot of things. Sometimes it takes time. It takes time for people to acclimatize, to adapt to certain techniques and strategies that are new. Like suppose you come across a technique or a course that's totally new to you, you will take some time to adapt and adopt the best things. So gradually when you work on the techniques, always believe that when you feel like a fish out of water, one day you will definitely feel like a fish to water. You will start adapting and adopting. It's not always adjusting in such a way that you lose your interest and passion. Because I have heard students telling me that I used to love math, I used to love English, but just because of the techniques, I just began hating the language, the subject, and all such things. So the passion, the interest shouldn't wane off. It should always bring in this waft of passion. You should feel on and off. Okay, it's like diving in and diving out. That also you saw in the video. And there is a big line of men standing on the shore. Okay, and they've spread their net, waiting for the catch of the day. So that's what is happening here. So like that, some techniques could be new, but always believe that it is going to work out. And one more thing that I want to remind you is when you begin working on any skill, there will be a lot of haters. There'll be a lot of people trying to discourage you. It's not in what you know and how much you know. It's in how you have groomed yourself as a better person. As I told you, what's the use of having a skill without shaping yourself as a better individual? It's only to develop your personality and your skills that you're working on something. So there will be people who will be arrogant, who will look down with the little knowledge that they have. People with great knowledge will never keep flaunting themselves. There is nothing known as perfect language. Okay? So we all are working towards the betterment every day. And when a person points a finger at you, there are 3 fingers pointing back. At the same time, hiding one's flaws and correcting others, that's a very bad attitude. As I told you, there are a lot of methods of learning, but finding fault is not going to bring any progress. So that's a wrong approach, I would say. Mindset is important, and I hope that these help you. I haven't framed sentences. I haven't given examples for each one. There are plenty more. There are more expressions and idioms with fish, fishing, catch, and such kind of words. If you could frame sentences using one of these in the comment section, it will be great. So use the comment section for a productive purpose, trying to say things that are already repeated through the videos. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.